Hello, hello. It's March 8th, 2023. It's a CI subgroup meeting of SIG Node. Welcome, everybody. We have a few items on agenda today. First few, I think it's like this one. Yeah, I wanted to let everybody know that there is this effort going on. We want to run ARM64 tests. Test on ARM64 machines. Right now we have these machines available in GCP where we run all the tests. So it shouldn't be too complicated to edit. And Ike, I think, will be working on that. So if anybody interested to help Ike, please join the party.
I'm just curious, what is the speed difference you see in the tests running on ARM64 machines that you have over there?
Do you mean workload?
Well, yeah, the performance of that, is it significantly better in the GKE? I've never tried it, so.
To be fair, I don't know the numbers. I know that there are workloads that run faster. I know some workloads are not running faster because they just compiled, not optimized for ARM64. But I know that you can find workload that run significantly faster.
Yeah, Kubernetes builds significantly faster on my M1 with I'm running a Ubuntu on in a UTM QEMU. So I'm expecting really good things here. This is great work.
Yeah, and right now some vendors already running, and including Google, like we run ARM64, Kubernetes on ARM64. It's already supported. This effort is just to make sure that tests are run early, so we will catch integrations for ARM64. Shift left effort. Okay, so you can see yourself if you want to see progress and such. Okay, this one is another thing that there was a PR. Clayton is implementing some logic on removing pods that are failed. So like removing unknown state and like making sure that pods being eliminated, and to make sure that they are, Clayton adding a couple metrics. So now we will have in our log dump script, we'll have code that will collect some metrics from nodes when test is completed. Same way as we collect a set of all pods running and all events from the pods and all events from the node. So we collect some information on the end of the test, especially on failed tests, and this one will collect some metrics. It's a very good improvement, but it reminded me of this things that happens. At some point, we switched from log dump script from KK repository to log dump script in test infra repository. It's a good switch because we want to minimize the amount of test code in KK repository, but at the same time, it had some incompatibility. So there is a flag that you need to apply to your test job to use this new script. And I was wondering if anybody here is interested in this task to just apply this flag to whatever SIG Node test we have. I know that there are a few that are still using old scripts. If you're interested in some task, like getting started tasks, this is a good opportunity to contribute.
That sounds like a simple and educational one. Why don't you send it to me? Is it like urgent? Because
we lived like that like for maybe when I joined this ever started, so like before my time, 2 years at least. So it's not urgent, but more and more tests will rely on this. I mean, if we want this metrics, we want this lockdown script. So yeah. I don't think we have task for that, like bug for that in GitHub, but I can create one. Okay, Francesca, do you want to talk about your item?
Yes, so this is about really to get the feeling about this forum. If there are any concerns or comments about promoting some of the existing pod resources end-to-end test to node conformance. About the process, I had an item, but it's on me. I will do the research and talk with SIG or any other steps needed. But if there are concerns from this forum, so why do that at all? Because we need to enable the endpoint on Windows, and the easiest way to have tests running on Linux and also on Windows is to have them as node conformants, which is arguably a good thing in general, and a good thing to explore in general. So I think provided the tests are stable, should be no problem, but I'm here to get the feeling, the pulse from this forum.
So node conformance is not owned by SIG, it's owned by us, so we can decide. And
Oh, right.
there was a cap that was accepted in one of the previous releases, and unfortunately we didn't follow through. I mean, we followed through partially. So it changed definition of node conformance a little bit, clarifying what it means. And node conformance means that this functionality is supposed to be working everywhere. So it doesn't need to have special like setup or like special components installed in addition to Kubernetes. So I think this fits pretty well in node conformance. I don't see any issue with that. And even like for GA, it can be node conformance even in beta.
Yeah. And this thing just popped out because of the GA conversation. So yeah, there is the resource manager tests in general, which they're related to pod resources, and in some cases the pod resources there are dependencies on extra components. This is why I'm talking a subset of them, but such a subset exists and we can totally move forward. So yeah, thank you for the updates. I will keep going.
Heavily run everywhere, so not conforming. So make sure that they're green before you.
Yeah, absolutely. I will update in the coming weeks. No worries. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I think you with this pod resources you're uncovering so many things like this promotion and support on Windows plus scalability and DDoS protection. Yeah,
yes.
So you're a pioneer of new endpoints.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if Mike is on the call here. This one.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask. Okay, so this is as discussed last week. We don't have like somehow we lost all the test coverage on older releases on like 124 and up. And Mike said sign up to support it. So we have first job already here, right? Can you talk more?
Yeah. So this job basically what it does is it's running right now it's just running node conformance tests. Eventually we could increase the coverage on this, but I wanted to make it something that's consistently green. I would like to maybe ideally onboard serial and some other tests, but until they're unstable, I would rather have them outside. This is the first one of other jobs that I plan to have. I plan to test all of the supported all of the supported Kubernetes versions in open source, which are 124, 125, 126. We already run tests for whatever is in master right now, so it doesn't make sense to have a 127 branch. Eventually, once 127 is released and a new version is cut, then we can have a 127 branch. But yeah, that's about it. I'm using COS for now. We can expand this to Ubuntu as well. I'm using a COS version that the COS team officially supports, that Kubernetes version. So for this one, it's if it's 124, I believe it's COS 97, and each job will have their own independent image for this.
Yeah, nice. I really like it. We have separate image file because in the past it was always like I remember what we did. Like we removed the remote remote runtime flag from Kubernetes, and it broke something because we shared the image file between versions.
Right.
So I think there's a good improvement here. Do you think we can move it out of this file into separate files? So we'll have like fully separate 124 files, fully separate 125 files. Maybe that will improve situation further. So we can have a clear way to distinguish. This is 124 testing, and then we'll move like remove those files and create new files. And this will be 125 testing.
Right. Maybe. Yeah, we could. Another thing we could do is like move all the all these release branch jobs into one single file, so it's a little bit clearer to find them out. But both options work. Yeah, I added to the container because I didn't want to add a file at the moment, but I think it makes sense to separate it.
Okay. So when we will be adding 125 and 126, think about like how we can make it easier to maintain for future versions.
Definitely. Yeah, I plan to add the next jobs.
Thank you. Vinay, do you want to talk about your in-place pod resize?
Yeah. So the CI enablement job, that the PR that I had yesterday, it got merged. Thank you, Sergey, for merging that. What I was observing to see how it does, and the first runs that it did are looking red. When I dug into it, I found that about 11 or 12 of the 34 tests that run have failed. And the reason that shows up is the pods were pending. We have a timeout of 300 seconds for scheduling the pods, and the timeout exceeded, and the pods were pending unschedulable because of not enough CPU. Now, looking at the node, which has like the pull jobs, which we run with multiple, like 3 or 4 worker nodes, this one is just a single node, and it has 2 milli CPUs, 2000 milli CPUs, sorry. And that the tests were, when the tests failed, they logged the pods that were running on that node, and there were several. So my guess is that this is happening because all those pods, when they run, they take about 200, 300 milli CPUs, and 6 or 7 of them would exhaust what's there. And if they run in parallel, they'll fail. So the quick fix for now is to run them in serial, and I have this potential fix PR. I'm not sure if that is sufficient. I don't have much experience with these on the test side of things. Just wanted someone to take a quick look and see if this is what I need to run all these tests in serial, as opposed to having those pods being scheduled at the same time, which is, in my opinion, causing the failure.
Yeah, we had similar problems with probes. Like whenever you test probes, you heavily depend on timing, and if your pod scheduling takes a while, and then like probe execution takes a while, and there is a CPU starvation, we always had these flakes that we fixed with timeout updates. I really don't like the idea to do something serial just because we don't have resources on the node. Like it doesn't feel healthy, and it will lead to more expensive infrastructure. So is there a way to increase timeouts or something?
So one of the tests in there, the scheduler test, has to be serial because of that. And there was a potential flake causing issue that Wang Wei identified, and Wang Chen, she submitted a PR that was merged yesterday as well. I am not sure if increasing the number of nodes could, I mean, I could really bring down the number of possibly, instead of allocating 300, 400, which I just picked a number pulled out of the air, I can go with like 40 to 60 milli CPUs, and that will help. But it still leaves this question mark of the flakiness is there.
So, go ahead.
Sorry. Vinay, you probably already checked that, but I want to mention just in case, because we had this issue when doing the CPU manager tests, which want to allocate exclusive CPU. So now the CPU amount becomes a bottleneck. So the CI machines are actually quite weak, meaning they have two entities that Kubernetes called CPUs available. So you probably already checked the amount of resources available. I'm just wondering if that could be an issue. Meaning the machine is doesn't have enough actual CPU to actually allocate the pod, or it's about a timing issue.
No, it's not timing. I checked. So in the bug, let me just post the link to the issue I created. I did some initial analysis, and I think where did it go? Okay, let me get it from this one. Give me 1 second. Okay, and there we go. Oh, Gee,
Is it this one that I showed on screen?
let me take a look. Yeah, yeah, this is the one. So the issue that's in there, I think I created one. I thought I had analysis posted on this one.
Yeah, while Vinay is looking
Okay.
for that, I want to say how I appreciate the joke Francesca made, like whatever Kubernetes calls the CPU. It was good.
Yeah, no, what I meant is about it's not could be a hyper thread or a physical core, and it doesn't really matter what that entity. I'm just thinking aloud, but it could be that if the tests go well while in serial, could be still related, because when they run serially, all the worker resources are available. So if you have 2 cores and 2 cores are enough, then you
Yeah.
are sure you have the full 2 cores for your tests. If they run alongside anything else, resources could be taken. So that could be a good reason to propose running it in serial, even though the serial has its drawbacks.
Yeah.
Like, for example, it runs nightly and you probably want to run them more often if possible. But if possible becomes the issue, I'm afraid.
No, it is. So it's not in the issue. The analysis is in the PR description itself. So if you scroll down to the PR description, Sergey, you'll see that I have a comment there. And this is exactly what it is. When I looked at why these are sitting, not scheduling, I looked at the node. When it dumps out, it tells you how much node allocatable is there, and that is 2000 millicpu. So as you said, this confirms that we have weak machines running over there. And the choice is, add more nodes to the job, which I really don't want to do because that's going to cost more, or in this case, run it longer. So it's allocated. Either ways, you're going to pay a little bit longer. When I looked at the pull jobs after creating this PR, both the alpha features, alpha enabled, and then my own in-place resize, I expected those pull job timings to increase because I'm running them in serial. I was under the impression that they were running in parallel, but it looks like those timings have not changed, which means the CI jobs are somehow running in parallel, but the pull jobs are not. Is that the case?
Wait a second. What was the question? Is it sorry, I missed it.
So when I created this PR, it runs through a bunch of jobs, right? It runs all the jobs. I added to it the alpha features job, which runs the in-place pod resize tests. And if you scroll down further at the bottom, you'll see the test results. So there is that alpha features, cos alpha features, that job. That one runs all the in-place pod resize tests as well. And when I compared the time it took 1 hour 29 minutes to run. I was expecting this to increase because I'm running in serial now. This was not the case before, but the time of this has not changed. So that suggests that this is already running in serial in the pull job, but in the CI job they run in parallel. When you look at the CI job, it finishes in about 30 minutes with those failures. So the cost is going to be that it's going to run 3 times longer, I guess. I would just want to, with this PR, I want to see, validate. There's no way to validate the CI job unless this goes in, right? Is there? If I'm missing, maybe I missed something.
There may be serial CI job as well. So I think serial setting is like serial tag is not serial setting, so it doesn't mean that test will run serially. You need to configure it. So that's why we have separate jobs for that.
Oh, okay. Okay, then please take a look at my PR and see if that really, maybe I need to do more than just the serial tag.
So I think here you wouldn't find anything serial, right? Yeah. Oh, interesting. Do you filter them out at all? That's surprising.
So this was not there before, and it still took an hour and a half. So the timing on the pull job has not changed. The CI job, which is linked in the issue, you'll see that it runs in 30 minutes, which is great, but if it fails, then it's no good. I'm expecting that if we do this, then it will take 1.5 hours, just like the pull job. But then we are also running this the C group V1 job. We're running it if you click on the issue, then the jobs are there.
This issue?
Yeah. So
Yeah, okay.
if you look at that, it's running 26 minutes with those failures, and they all seem to be running in parallel, which is causing the out of CPU can't schedule issue. And if we run them in serial, this is my theory, my hypothesis. I just don't know if I'm on the right track with this. So I wanted someone to take a look at the PR, and if this is not, then find what else is needed to get this to run in serial.
Yeah, let me try to. If I will find really quickly, I will let you know. But if not, I will just comment on PR.
Sure. Yeah, thanks.
No.
About the two jobs that we have, the C group V2 in place CI runs every 24 hours, and the V1 runs 48 hours. So at least for now, I'm okay with we can at least try this out if this works. But if we know from code review it doesn't work, then I'll do what we need to do to fix it. So as you can see, most of them ran about 70% of them ran fine, and the 30% which failed are failing because of not enough CPU, just scheduling failure.
Yeah, I'm afraid we increase the periodic for everything just to save on infrastructure costs right now. It's running very high. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't find it really quickly, so let me find out later.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's go to something to the next item. And we're out of agenda items, so let's go to triage. Yeah, I did some pre-triage today morning to remove everything that is clearly not related to CI group. Okay, this is what we discussed last time, and yeah, more people looked at it. So I think we just need to take it through more. Okay, I will double check on that, but I think this needs to be just merged. I want to just find here.
I did have one question. I've not been able to find my test log. Like when I run locally, it's fine using Focus and stuff. I can, see my test run and show the fast, but I haven't been able to find them in the PR logs there where the test is actually run.
Okay, so I think we run not conformance there. Which jobs did you check?
I checked the latest one that Armakis told me, which was I checked several. He said to check node ETE container D.
And I think that one, I think it's running not conformance. Let me check.
Is this that one where you were getting them to run sequentially and checking the order for the sidecar project, or is this different?
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
that one. Cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure they were actually running before the PR went in.
Right. So focus here is, yeah, not conformance. So I think we can be we can just add node conformance to that, and it will solve it. So in skin it, just add this tag and it will run it. Do you want me to add comment right now? We discussed it with David, and we thought it may be a good idea to add some timestamps as well to the logs, because this way we can test what started at. There is a field called started at, that this field value at least somehow close to the timestamp that it's supposed to be. So that may be another addition, but I don't want to complicate this PR. Maybe it can come later.
So there actually is a timestamp on each log. If you scroll up there, I think where the sample, yeah.
Oh, it's already here.
Yeah, it's just not, it's not parsed out.
I'm not easily recognize the Linux timestamps, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I'll add that.
Run all in place. Yeah, this is what we discussed, right? So trying to do it.
So you have 1 hour. Arjun, whatever. I wanted to put effort to it. Arjun?
I'll take a look as well. If anybody else wants to jump in. Okay. This is work in progress. So yeah, we started reverting PRs quite aggressively right now because we are in like coming up to release. So one of the PRs were reverted, and Swati. Oh no, this one is different. This one is backporting to 126.
Yeah, this one was the fourth point that you see on the PR description is the one that was backported. So I think this is in a way blocked as well. So I'm currently working on fixing that, and then we can think about backporting.
Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't need attention right now.
Move it out. That one. This one. That's on AWS.
Yeah, so I'm not sure of status of this, whether it should, like what the end goal is really. So I know, so there was a GCE runner on that ran a remote test on GCE, and it was in use by some of the node tests. And then there was someone from the SIG Infra, I think, that's working on setting up a Proud cluster on EKS to use some of the AWS credits and try to sort of move some of that cost from GCE over to AWS. And so this was a PR I created sort of in support of that. But then there was some discussion yesterday on SIG Node, whether if that was a good idea or not, or I guess maybe the registry changed, or is it just going to be enough? So I've got no strong feelings about this whatsoever. Just curious, kind of what everyone else thinks.
Is there any pieces of this PR that definitely just good improvements that we can take? So we can detangle like some improvements of scripts versus decision on moving tests.
Yeah, I could. So the refactoring of the runner, the remote runner out into like a GCE runner and then the SSH runner is probably worthwhile without the AWS change. I think there's a bit of tension between like a desire to remove cloud provider code from Kubernetes, and then a desire to also use AWS credits, which might require keeping some of the code there, and whether the right approach is move the test runner entirely out of Kubernetes into a different repo so that you can also remove the vendor dependencies. Yeah, so that's kind of where it's at the moment.
Okay. Are you working with stick testing on that?
Yes. Yeah, there's a guy named Mohammed over there that's working on setting up the Proud cluster. I don't think there's been I guess I'm a little bit concerned that they're sort of approaching hey, let's build this EKS crowd cluster and do this. And I don't think there's been a lot of cross communication regarding the actual use of it.
Yeah, I don't think there is any concern from the. I think people are afraid of having something run on AWS and not not being supported at all. So like some infrastructures that start running, but then like nobody looking at that. It's very concerning, and we had situations like that before, similar situations. So I think that's the biggest worry that needs to be resolved. But I think SIG testing is the best place to resolve this worry, and then we can go to SIG Node and like just polish the. Yeah. Okay, so let me. I mean, if you can take some pieces out and like that we can pick, we probably can do it earlier. I will make it waiting on author for now, just because of the discussion.
Yeah, I can look at just doing the refactoring first.
Thank you, Dad. Okay, Paco created this issue. Version 6 storage as well. I wonder if it's a flake or a real like 100% issue. Let me go to test grid and see. Yeah, it's failing all the time. There is no flake. Okay, I can try to ping 6 storage on that. And probe tests. So yeah, I think we looked at it last week. I'm not sure why it's not triaged. So yeah, what is happening is some liveness and readiness probe tests started failing with a strange condition. So sometimes liveness fails, but and we detect that it fails, but then pod container is not being restarted. In the same way, sometimes the opposite is true. Expected number of restarts 0. You see, like sometimes it expects not to restart, but it actually restarts, and sometimes it's opposite. It opposite. Where is opposite? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there were opposites. For some reason, I only see this kind of number of restarts 1, but oh no, it's the same. Okay. I promise you, I saw opposite as well. Anyway, so it's failing now, and I think it may be critical now. So let me mark it as if anybody interested to take a look, please do so. Otherwise, we will catch this bug when we look at important soon bugs for the release.
Can you CC me so I can look if I have time? I don't want to sign up for it. Thanks.
Okay. And ping me if you want some assistance with initial investigation. Okay. So we're done with this triage. Are there still items? Oh, I need to move. I'll move them later. We looked at all this. I'll just move them in different column. And we have 20 minutes for bugs. So we're done with test agenda. I will now switch to bugs. If you interested in bugs, please stay and help out. As you remember, last time we looked at important soon bugs. By Mike. This time I want to triage items. So 26, maybe you can go through a few of them. I don't know what happened with GitHub recently, but it started behaving differently for me. Something happened much slower. I don't know why. Okay, let's start. Client side is not ready. 121. Too old.
Yes, I was curious on this one. Like, so what's the policy for like a bug reported against the end of life Kubernetes version?
We try to read it, but then like typically go needs information. Because yeah, it also we need kubelet log to investigate, and it's a very old version. So what we'll do is we'll say triage needs information. There is a special column for those that we periodically fetch items from. Okay, yeah. It's rotten. Maybe it was fished out of rotten. And we call it again, cannot produce result as it is. Okay. Somebody reopened it, but then opened again. Manual assigning pods to nodes could lead to cluster instability.
I think this is one where I landed a PR that updated docs saying don't do this. Yeah.
Okay.
So they were manually updating node name on their pods to assign them to a node, and the node didn't have enough resources.
Do you think we can close it, or it's still being discussed?
There was some discussion down below regarding like a possible feature enhancement to the API server to allow you to disable, sort of like an admission hook to disable setting the node name on a pod unless you were the scheduler. And I don't think there's anything for like kubelet to do.
Okay. So it will be scheduling.
Yeah, perhaps so. Maybe just transfer.
This will do it. Kubernetes metrics is not showing metrics on pods. And there are recommendations how to debug it. They provided some additional information. I tend to accept it. I think it's assigned to dashboard. Yeah, okay. David may be a good person. We don't need to find owner for that. David is handling this. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's like so slow. It started very recently. Sorry for technical troubles. But well, on the edge case. Okay, so it's related to cap. SIGOPS. I wonder how SIG Node was. Okay. It's worked as expected from SIG Node perspective. I will remove SIG Node out of here and move on. So yeah, it's all related to this caps that SIGOPS are running. Having successfully deleted the pods using kubectl command. The containers of containerd are still in running status.
Is this related to the static pod? We have an open issue around static pod behaving exactly like this.
No, it doesn't say it's static. I think it's regular pods.
Oh, okay.
Containerd, yes.
Is there proof that the kubelet was healthy?
Yeah, there is no kubelet logs attached.
There's the command. Partial. There was a ticket about this before related to static pods, but there was a lot of talk on the ticket. And the conclusion is the source of truth for the static pods is the file on the disk, not the mirror pod you can see in the API server. So it should not respond to the delete for the mirror pod. If you want to see, I can try to find that ticket for you.
There is a recent comment by Clayton on the issue that I opened, where he's proposing some solution to it. But yeah, I don't have the number handy yet.
Whatever it is, I'd like to see it, please. If you
Okay.
can like send me the
Yeah.
ticket or CC me or something. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so this is in needs information. Anybody want, Harsh, do you want to be CC'd here, just in case?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Deploy, observe, Kubernetes log, full Kubernetes log, source code. I think it has everything. Yeah, I think I reopened it from very past, like it's 2021. So the problem is that if customer specified the incorrect command in Liven, so readiness probe, then we wouldn't recognize the failure to run this probe as a failure of probe failure. So we'll just say it's a warning. So I reopened it mostly. Okay, I looked at chat. So I reopened it mostly to. I thought that there is no information that this happens, but apparently there is. I thought that we hit in this. There is a very interesting catch here. So in this code in exec probe, we check that if exit code present, then we go through this case. And if it's not present, then we can get it. It's a timeout, and we show it's timeout. But then, like in opposite case, it's unknown, and unknown will not result in any logs or events, so it will be swallowed silently. Apparently, there is an exit code when there is no, like binary cannot be found. There is exit code, so this branch of code will be used. So we'll see failure. I think that's what happened. So yeah, I tried to reoperate, and I couldn't find, couldn't get it to get into this branch of code. But I wonder if there are cases when this branch of code will be executed. So there is no exit code, and it's not a timeout. Like how to get CRI to return this response. I still want to investigate that. I don't think. I don't think it's blocking on anything. It's long-standing behavior.
Sergey, could you CC me?
Okay.
Can you add me to R. Phillips?
Yep.
Do you see the same behavior?
Possibly. Maybe. Not sure. It's interesting to look at.
Yeah, we have a couple customers complain about it. It's not natural, like that like wrong executable will not result in test failure, in probe failure. Kubert E2E tests are failing on public Ubuntu. Yeah. see it passed. Okay.
Yeah, so this is some of the other work that was being done to try to get some of the CI tests to run on EKS. This is Mohammed, who was making changes to use just the base Ubuntu AMI.
Okay. Same.
Yeah, I've run into like some odd things about the test. I wonder if I should just document them or actually try to make changes, like the node end-to-end, the node conformance test will fail if your disk is too large. They'll fail if your disk is too small. So it took me a minute to find a good size disk.
I'll recategorize this picture. Production timeout argument missing from kube controller manager. It's a dog bug. Okay. Already PR for that, so should be. Who owns this PR? Okay, I think we only have 3 minutes left. I don't think we will be able to go through many more items. We have 19 left. Yeah. If you have any other agenda items, please speak up now. Otherwise, I think we can finish the meeting. Nothing in the chat. Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.